Well, hello, 𝗍𝗶𝗶, welcome back. This update of the Rippa R13 mini excavator I have. This is just a project where I took it to work for 2 days and got a bunch of projects done, maybe 3 or 4 hours a day for 2 days, and all kinds of stuff I got into. I got into hauling wood, scrap, plastic, metal, garbage, weeds, you name it, even got into bees nests. So first off, they wanted me to move a bunch of this cedar bough brush away from the building here. They wanted me to put it back in the woods. So it didn't take more than maybe 10-15 minutes, mainly because we had to travel back and forth maybe 100 and 120 feet with each bundle of it. But it would have taken a long time dragging by hand, just kind of gnarly stuff. So it's nice to be able to pick it up with a thumb and big bucket there. This thing has a 2-speed travel, so you can do all your technical work in slow and then click it to high and move fairly quick. So here I'm using one of my favorite buckets other than the stock bucket that comes with it. This is a 19.5-inch bucket, 500 millimeters, pretty affordable on eBay. That rake there I just put on there and the stock blue bucket, those are my 3 favorite attachments for these machines. They won't break the bank to get them either. They are super useful. So the plan is here to clean up this absolute mess, sort out the metal, sort out the plastic, sort out the wood, clean all the weeds out of here. There's a bunch of metal mixed in a bunch of this stuff, so we can't come through here and mow. Some tubing, some log rounds, metal scrap, old tables. Wouldn't be surprised if there's not a few bees nests there. So yeah, hopefully I don't get stung on this one. Just the blackberries and thistles have just taken over this area, so I'm gonna clean it out, get it all prepped so we can come through here and mow. Same with over here, is there's absolute amount of just mess and blackberry bushes. So sort it out, recycle the metal, and dispose of everything that we can't use again. So hauling all the implements over here, this thing has the quick hitch on it. So with a crescent wrench and pulling a pin, you can drop off an attachment. Now I'm putting on one of my favorite attachments is a rake. I have an upgrade to show you guys in a future video how I can upgrade these rakes, make them a lot sturdier. Found a log in there. This area maybe was sorted out 10-15 years ago, but everything just slowly got melted into the ground. There's pallets that have just slowly rotted in the ground. There's so much iron earth here between pallets, tubing, all kinds of scrap metal, sheets of plastic. I mean, what a mess. There's an old tabletop there that the table fell off of and a bunch of metal framework. I mean, the deeper you dig, the more you would find. So this was a shit show. Had to clean it up. Massive layers of plastic. So the whole idea is get this cleaned up so we can flatten it out, plant grass here, get all the garbage out of the weeds, and recycle what we can and throw everything else out and make it so we can mow it and keep it clean. What a mess. So I'm pretty sure this rake stays on this machine for this whole entire job. It was so useful for raking through all these blackberry vines, sorting out all the plastic, all the garbage. You know, you hear I'm using it to move those metal totes around, moving pallet racking with it. That between that and the hydraulic thumb is crucial. I mean, I saved days and days worth of work doing it by hand, crushing up metal here. It's just super handy. There's a bunch of these super sacks in there, and I was able to sort those things out and load them all in a dumpster. So the rake and the hydraulic thumb are crucial because you can just scrape over the top surface, weed out all the weeds, but you're not digging deep with it. Super useful tool. So here we got one of those tipper bins. You can use these tipplers for
the forklift to empty into a larger trash can. So we're just using this so I can sort through here and get rid of, we're just getting rid of the weeds, getting rid of all the plastic that we can't use again, and just chucking in here. All the metal's going to a metal recycling pile, but there was just various bits of just garbage mixed in with this, so just wanted to get it out of there. I guess you could have composted the weeds at some point, but just getting rid of all those blackberry vines.
Well, got the first hopper loaded up. I'm gonna put this in a big trash dumper and go through, sort out the last little bit of plastic I can find in here, and back grade this all out, smooth it out so we can come through here with the mower.
These little grater blades do fantastic on these little machines. Even my R13, the older little yellow Rippa I had, you could grade and smooth out a lot of stuff very easy with it. This machine grades better, I would have to say, than my other one. It's got a wider blade, longer traction, a little more pushing power. But both of those little things, those blades, even though they're really short, they do quite a bit for smoothing things out. And when you're digging, that's really nice to lower them down for stability. Found a bunch of plastic super sacks and tarps and things. Just another hopper load going to the trash. It feels good to get this all cleaned up. Definitely unearthed a bunch of metal in this area, but unfortunately unearthed something else, something I didn't want to mess with.
Knew I was gonna come across this sooner or later. Hit a bee's nest over here, so I'm gonna back up a little bit. They are swarming in old wood stack. Oh man, they haven't found the excavator much, so keep flying over here a little bit. There's a whole bunch, about 20 to 30 there, so I'm gonna let that area cool down for a little bit. Gotta retrieve my other camera over there, just chill out for a little bit because they are cruising around here.
So let those bees kind of die down that one location. I went out behind the Quonset huts over here to clear a bunch of blackberry bushes and thimbleberry bushes out of the way and unearth whatever else we come across in here. I don't know if you've ever had the unfortunate event of actually handling and ripping out blackberry vines. These are Himalayans. They are gnarly. They definitely rip up your skin pretty easy, so I'm glad to have the machine taking care of that rather than doing it by hand.
Well, that thing's great for ripping out blackberry bushes. And move this big slab. This is probably 4 by 4 and at least 4 inches thick. Push this around. I was able to tip it up, but I don't think the machine's gonna have enough power, and I didn't want to break my rake trying to pick that thing up. But cleaned out a bunch of blackberry bushes here. So we can kind of start maintaining it, mowing it here. And got some scrap metal for a scrap bin. Got a bunch of blackberry bushes, so should be a good cleanup here.
So this slab of concrete's at least 4 inches thick, 4 feet long by 4 feet wide. And this machine had no problem kind of tipping it up on end and grading around, pushing it with the grader blade. So pretty powerful machine for being 1.3 tons. You can do quite a bit with that little machine. And that little Kubota really purrs. It's just a tiny little D722 Kubota 3-cylinder, and it's extremely fuel efficient and is pretty quiet, nice to run. So if you ever work around forklifts and realize if you get them off the pavement and gravel, they get stuck super easy. These things are like 9,000 pounds. Here, the boss is stuck with it, so I was going to give it a nudge. I didn't think the machine was going to do it. Well, it actually did it. We were both surprised.
Dude, that's awesome. I did not think it was going to do that. That is... Well, it got you unstuck there. So when I started on this just about 4 3/4 hours ago, I'm working on this project, I had a full tank right up to here, just refilled it. This tank was right here at the max level when I started. It's right here now. This is a 5-gallon tank, so maybe 1 gallon to 1.5 gallons. I have to say these 3-cylinder Kubotas are super fuel efficient, far more than the gas-powered 420cc engines. It seems like I'm constantly putting gas in my little skid steer and my old R1319, so that's pretty amazing. Fill the tank back up from the gas light flickering on in almost 5 hours, back up to here. Use that much, pretty amazing. Worked pretty good. That beats the hell out of pulling those blackberry bushes out by hand and lifting all that heavy stuff.
Well, you know, dumpsters, they always have a warning that says do not play on, in, or around. Well, I loaded up some pallets here, drove into this one. This dumpster we get returned to the work all the time, and there's just ongoing buildup of this sawdust, and every time it gets hauled off, it comes back with probably 200 gallons worth of sawdust that has just been caked in here. So got the machine in, drove it up on those pallets, drove it around, broke all this stuff up, so the next time this bin goes and gets tilted out at the dump, it's going to come back as a clean dumpster. So machine works good. Here we're just hauling a bunch of this pallet racking that this pallet's basically rotting apart, and the forklift will not go all the way out there in the yard without getting stuck. So I'm using the machine to move a lot of this pallet racking out of the grass so the forklift can actually receive it and get it moved around to a better location. So here there's just a bunch of old rotten logs and things. I was scooting further back in the bushes, clearing out a bunch of brush that we just couldn't get the mower in here for, just kind of keeping things maintained. And of course more Himalayan blackberry bushes, keeping those from spreading anymore. They'll take over buildings if you let them at it. So just clearing all this stuff out, making sure that we can get those berry bushes out of there, and just be a lot easier to maintain and mow through here later on once we just grow some grass.
Well, got that done. That was probably 15-20 minutes. Got all the logs pushed back over here. They're kind of rotten anyhow. Got all the blackberry bushes ripped out and just kind of put it up there as a berm. Be a lot easier to come through here now with the mower and keep this area maintained pretty well. Got the natural kind of better vegetation back there. Just want to get rid of most of those blackberry vines. Yesterday, the forklift got stuck going into this stuff. It's just the soft grass, and those forklifts weigh, I think they 10,000 pounds for this one. And was able to actually nudge it out with little Rippa there. But because this is such soft soil, the forklift was getting stuck. Want to organize this stuff, get it out. So I just hooked onto it, easily pushed it forward at just a little bit above idle there. So definitely got some pretty good pushing power with this machine. Those longer tracks are pretty nice, and that high-low range travel's been really good for traveling longer distance around here and kick it down low for any pushing. But moved all that pallet racking bar right there, no problem. I slid it on a pallet there.
So here's a simple reminder. If you fill up your machine with fuel, just grab your grease gun, go around it, give each zerk fitting 1 to 2 pumps of grease. Basic maintenance is going to go a long ways. Your pins and bushings are going to thank you in the long run. Super simple to do. A lot of people overlook it. So grease those zerks. So here's an option I don't use very often, but it's nice this machine has it. It's a swing boom. I was able to swing it over to the side and get the little rake right up against the side of the foundation here. It's kind of a nice feature to have if you're working along buildings, doing drainage or anything like that. Like I said, I don't use it that often out in the woods, but on stuff like this, it's good. Trying to grate this whole area so you get those empty plastic totes sitting over here. Another thing I did was I narrowed up the tracks, left my blade wide, so I had a lot of control with that blade, but my tracks weren't sliding down the side of the building. I thought it was kind of a nice little feature. I usually always run the machine with the tracks expanded, but it was kind of helpful. You can see how much further the tracks got away from the building when I was grading right there. Mini X to the rescue again. The forklift got stuck in a small hole and just lost all traction. So get the Mini X in here, push it out. It wasn't too bad. I think on this job we had to do it 3 times total. Worked pretty good.
All right.
If you're interested to learn more about this little Rippa R13 mini excavator here, I got a whole review video I did. It's a pretty long video, but explains all kinds of stuff about the machine, how it functions, pumps, engine, hydraulics, all that kind of stuff. It's a pretty thorough review, so I'll put a link below in the description for that as well. So check it out.
Got this cleaned up quite a bit. Looks a hell of a lot better. The bees that I came across over here, we relocated them. They were in one of these pallet racking crossbars. That one right over there, they seem to be content. Got a little more cleanup to do still. Got to get some grass in here, but this is gonna be a lot easier to keep maintained, mowed. That scrap right there is all scrap metal we're gonna cut apart and recycle. Those are just empty totes. Get some pallet racking and stuff, but yeah, this is way better.
The beauty of this machine is it still fits in the back of my F-250, no problem. Back home now, unloading this thing on this little embankment. Yeah, I hope you enjoyed the video. If you did, give it a thumbs up. Please leave a comment down below. That helps. If you want to share it with anybody, go right ahead. And I think if you swipe sideways on the comments, there's a hype part. You can hype the video. Maybe that'll do anything. I think it's a lost cause now on YouTube, but if you can, give it a hype. Maybe it'll help out. All right, until next time, take care. Bye.